Welcome to the Page by Page Book Club. I'm your host, Paige in Print, and I bring you weekly book club meetings wherever you get your podcasts. Wow, y'all. It has been a time. It's been a time. I have so much to update you guys on, and I don't really even know where to begin, so I'm going to do my best, and then we're going to go into a monthly recap because it's all going to play into each other, okay? So here's the tea, here's the drama. If you listen to my last recap episode, you will know that I have moved officially to being part-time at my corporate job and full-time doing book stuff as of June 1st. So this is my first month working full-time in the book space. I will eventually transition out of my role in my corporate job here probably in August or so. And so this is my first month doing my author services business and Page and Print full time, which has been so exciting. It has been a lot of transition, and I'm still trying to get my feet under me. But it has been a dream come true. In addition to that, I just spent the weekend in Knoxville for a meet and greet queue, which is why my voice is a little more raspy than usual. I just yapped the weekend away. I went to see Molly and stayed in her hometown on Thursday. And then we drove together to Knoxville here on Friday. And then the event was Saturday, came home Sunday, which was yesterday. And then the podcast is coming out on Wednesday. Like, we're talking a quick turnaround here, people. So all good things, all good things. When I say I have been busy, that's busy with a capital B. Like, I have been really just trying to get my feet under me, trying to figure out what life looks like in this new job. And it's not really a new job, but like what my new normal is. So with that being said, in a shocking turn of events, I am going to clock my lightest reading month to date since the month I started reading. In the month of June, I think I will read 6 books total. Upon recording this on the 23rd of June, I have read 4 books. I am 50% through 2 more books. So I don't want to get too ambitious here, but I think it's going to be 6. And honestly, y'all, I think the biggest reason for this is because I'm working from home. I'm not commuting nearly as much, so I'm not listening to audiobooks as much as I was. You know what I'm saying? I digress. We continue. So I'm thinking for this episode, it's probably going to be a little bit shorter, and I'll tell you, of course, what I read last month, and then maybe my imminent TBR for the month of July. Does that work? Can we go with that? Because it's going to be short, sweet, and quick, but that's just my life right now. I do want to say before I get into this, I have 2 points to make because there are a lot of new faces around Page and Print land as of late, and I've been receiving 2 questions or comments most often, and I just want to address them, and then we'll get into the books, I promise. The first is I have been receiving an increased number of requests for my ratings and reviews on books. Specifically, like most people will say, love the way you talk about books, but can you please provide your rating and review? And to that, I always say, if you've been here, you know, no, I will not provide my rating review online. I now have 2 very, very big reasons not to do that. The first is I am a book recommender, not a book reviewer. I have been that way since I started my account. My account only features books that I rate 4 stars and above, meaning I liked them. Or I loved them, and I would recommend you read them. So when you are on my page, you can know for sure that I am rating these books 4 and 5 stars if I am talking about them. Yes, there are a lot of them. I read for entertainment and empathy, so I'm not really nitpicking my stories. Not much bothers me. So 4 and 5 stars. If you would like to see all of my star ratings, they are available on my Goodreads, Fable, and Storygraph. But on my social media platforms, I am only a recommender, not a reviewer. So if you're looking for review content, I have a ton of friends who are incredible reviewers, and I can recommend those people to you if you would like. I am just a recommender. So that is why I format my content that way. It is not by mistake. The second reason that I do not rate and review books online now especially is I run a business where I run authors' businesses, right? And when you work in the author space, when you're an author, when you are a business owner that supports authors, there is this is up to opinion, but in my opinion, you kind of give up the rating or reviewing element of the reader experience, because I'm interacting with authors on a daily basis. And if they saw me on my page speaking negatively about another author or another book, I feel as though it would be quite off-putting. Like, oh, well, she's saying this about this person's book, so I wonder what she has to say about mine. Like, I don't ever want the authors I work with to feel that way. So, again, for that reason, I also don't rate and review on my socials. I also don't rate and review books I am paid to read. If I am doing a paid partnership, I try not to rate and review books that I am literally paid to read. Anyway, I hope all that makes sense, and I absolutely understand if this format of content is not for you, but reading is so subjective, and star ratings a 4 to me might be a 5 to you, 5 to me might be a 3 to you. And so I have found that it is just frankly unhelpful for me to provide my star ratings, and I don't want anyone to be like, oh, well, why'd she rate it 4 stars and not 5, and then I'm not gonna like it, so I'm not gonna read it. No, it might be your ultimate Roman Empire book. I don't want to stand in the way of that. You see? Okay, lovely. And then the other comment, not as frequently but a little often lately, that I've been getting is, you seem to recommend the same books quite often. Can you please recommend others? And I do try to reply to these comments, but I am reading as fast as I can. I promise you, I'm reading as fast as I can to provide you new book recommendations. And life is a bit crazy right now. And so I'm kind of in a rock and a hard place where it's like, I can either keep providing content and keep providing recommendations of the books that I have read, or I can make less content because I don't have as many books to talk about because I'm not reading as much. So you see, it's a slippery slope. I really do understand the frustration, and I'm sorry for the frustration. I truly am reading as fast as I possibly can. I always want people to be happy, and I know that that's not always going to be the case, but I'm just always like, I'm trying, I promise. So thank you for your understanding. Thank you for your patience. If you have already read all 325 books I have read and all of the series that I tend to recommend, and you're all caught up on the things I recommend, I promise I'm reading as fast as I can. If not, if you have something in particular in mind you're hoping to hear me talk about, holler, let me know. But yes, okay, let's move on to what I've read this month. Thank you for your patience. Let me get into my Goodreads. The first book I finished this month was Hidden Nature by Nora Roberts. I listened to this one on audio, and I actually immersive read it, now that I'm thinking about it. I immersive read it. It was in partnership with St. Martin's Press, and what a cool partnership. It was my first partnership for a book, which was really neat. Nora's been around for so long. She is an OG romance author, and when I got to share with my mom and my grandmother, who's also an avid reader, that I had the opportunity to have that partnership, they were both so excited and over the moon. Yeah, it was just really fun to share that with them, because they both have read tons of Nora Roberts, and I really love this book. It's a perfect intersection of women's fiction, suspense, and romance. I would say that the suspense plot is the primary driver of the entire book, and the romance portion kind of takes a back seat, but it is still very much so present and grounds the story in a way. It follows the FMC, who is a police officer, and she is shot in the line of duty and returns to her hometown in an effort to recover. And while she's there is a series of missing persons cases, and she is trying to solve them while she is in recovery from her injury. And she can't find the connection between all these people. It seems very random until it becomes abundantly clear what the connection is. And you as a reader know what the connection is, because you get the POV of the FMC, the MMC, and the bad guys in this story. And it was just really interesting. The MMC in the story is a millionaire coming from New York. He was working in finance, And then he was like, you know what? I hate this. I'm pursuing my parents' dreams, not my own. So I'm going to go to this small town that I vacationed in one summer and start a like handyman fix-it construction business and revamp a home, like a historic home he fell in love with. It's really, really fun. Their romance is really, really sweet. And I genuinely enjoyed the story. My partnership with St. Martin's Press was just for a recommendation video, so this is not at all a partnership. This is just me saying that I really, really love the book. So that was Hidden Nature by Nora Roberts. Then I read A Royal Mile by Samantha Young. This is the second book in the Return to Dublin Street series, which is the second generation of the On Dublin Street series. And it follows our FMC, who is a romance podcaster. She's in college, and she and her friends have a romance podcast where they kind of give dating advice. And then on campus, there kind of pops up a rival podcast, which you got to see in the last book on Lover's Lane. And it's some boys on campus, and they're kind of like being a little, the guys are like goading the girls' podcast and kind of trying to get a rise out of them because the ringleader of all this was broken up with by one of the girls on the girls podcast. Okay, you're with me. And so one of the guys on the podcast, not the main guy, but just one of them, is very, very enamored with one of the girls on the girl podcast. You're with me? He's so enamored by her, in fact, that he signs up for tutoring with her for like weeks and weeks and weeks in a degree that he's not even studying. And he is like, she's incredible. She's everything. She's incredible. I have to quit this podcast because she's such an incredible person and I'm hurting her. It must stop. And so he goes to quit the podcast, and she and her friends on that same day uncover who these guys are on the podcast because it was anonymous, and she realizes that it's him. And then they leave for the summer, and he comes back and he starts groveling for her friendship because he is 30th in line to the crown. So he comes from royal descent. He's never just had a true good friend, and he's never felt safe with someone the way he feels with our FMC. And so he's groveling for her friendship, but obviously he's in love with her. Like, obviously he's in love with her. And it is so dreamy and so sweet. And so the like groveling turns into, she's always had a crush on him. Like the whole time, yeah, he really, really hurt her, but also she's just undeniably attracted to him. And he ultimately gets with the program. They fall for each other. The third act conflict was really, really interesting. And I really enjoyed it. Like, not enjoyed it because, like, sad. But it wasn't a third act breakup. And it was just crazy. I had a great time reading that book. So, it was the perfect follow-up to On Lover's Lane, in my opinion. And y'all know how much I love On Lover's Lane. And then I went into my alpha read of Silver Sanctuary by Tilly H. Colson. I can't talk about it much yet, but what I can say is that it's the third book in the Silver Spring series. It's romantic suspense. You know it's single mom. You know it's retired Navy SEAL. So that's what I'll tell you for now. But my heartstrings were so pulled by this story. I wept and wept and wept reading this. It was so moving. It was so beautiful. And I was just jaw on the floor over it. And I know I said I would mention some like imminent TBR stuff. And I do want to say like imminent TBR for me is wrapping up Tilly's Backlist by reading The Men of Clarence County. 5-book romantic suspense series. It's her debut series. Set in a small town, really close to Silver Springs. And I'm just so excited. I love the way Tilly writes romantic suspense. It feels very real. And like sometimes when I read romantic suspense, I know I've mentioned this before about Tilly, but you'll be like, there's no way that person's okay. Like there's no way they're okay. And I think Tilly explores like, yeah, there's no way they're okay. And I think she explores that very well and very beautifully. So that is all I can tell you about Silver Springs. But when I alpha read, it takes me quite a bit of time because I'm trying to be like really, really, really intentional about reading the story. So that took a good chunk of my month here. I know my best friend's listening. I know you're here and you were right. I just want to have it on record in the public. You were right. I read Rewind It Back. And I am so a Rio de Luca girl. And we knew that. We knew that was going to be the case. But the way that this is the case in such a major way was unexpected. Like, okay, I knew I was going to love this man. I just didn't realize how much. That's what I'm trying to say. The story was a 6-star read. Ria's a top 5 MMC of all time for me. Hallie's a top 5 FMC of all time for me. The audiobook is top 5 audiobooks of all time for me. The story is top 5 books of all time. This book was a sweep for me. Absolute, complete, and utter sweep. It is the final book and final installment of the Windy City series by Liz Tomforty. It lived up to my every expectation and more. It is a second chance dual timeline, which y'all know. Second chance dual timeline? I eat it up every time. It's always been you in the most it's always been you way that has ever it's always been. I love them. I love the story. I could cry thinking about it right now. Oh my God. He reminds me so much of my husband. And y'all know how I feel about my husband. God bless. I just loved it. It can be read as a standalone if you have not read the rest of the Windy City series, but you should read the rest of the Windy City series if you haven't. It is just a top tier romance experience. It is unreal. And if you are new to the romance genre, Windy City is the place to be. It's the place to start. The Right Move was the third book I ever read as a romance reader. And I wept when that story was over because I just was I'm such an emotional person. I couldn't watch movies growing up because I would always cry. I cried in Piglet's big movie. I'm a crier. I always have been. But I cried when The Right Move was over. And I cried actually a lot in my early months of reading because I was so sad the stories were over. I am who I am. I have spoken with a professional. There's nothing to be done. I'm just an empathetic, sappy person. Y'all know this. So I've loved The Right Move for a long time. Y'all know. I could go on and on. If you haven't read Windy City series, you should. Sports romance set in Chicago. The found family is unmatched. Okay. That's all I've read this month. I know. It actually cracks my heart open because I just miss reading. And so I actually, on the days I do work from home, am carving out an hour every morning to read. And nowadays, a standard book is taking me about 4 hours to read. And I understand that that's incredibly fast. I have just gotten to be a very fast reader. I don't know what else to say, especially when I immersive read. I move through books very fast, and I'm actually doing a series on my socials right now of randomizing all 325 books I read and giving synopsises of them without the author, without the cover, title only. And I have 7 recorded, and I am 35 for 35. I have not missed a single one. So I'm by no means missing the plot by reading so fast. So I say all that to say I should be back to bare minimum reading 2 or 3 books a week, which will make me so happy because I just miss reading, guys. I miss it, but I have been spending this month following my dreams and owning a business in the book space and getting to support the authors I work for, which is a dream come true. I know some of you guys are listening, and I just can't thank you enough for taking a chance on my business. This is everything to me. And so despite it being a slower reading month, I am truly, truly setting systems in place to get back to the basics, back to why I got here in the first place, which is books. Over the past few months, 6 months of me building this business, I have had to let go of reading in a major way. I was reading last year 18 books a month, averaging a book every other day, and I miss that. I miss the hunger for these books, and I am so excited to be back. I am hoping in the next few weeks I'll be back in a place where I am taking weekends off again. I have been working 7 days a week, every week, 80-hour weeks for who knows how long. I mean, y'all know. And it's time to be back. So, imminent TBR. I told you all about Men of Clarence County. I need to read Honor by Danielle Baker because that's going to round out my Skyridge Hotshot series, and I'm really, really looking forward to that. I feel it's going to be very up my alley. Small town, single parent. Oh, okay. Pause. I'm currently reading Against All Odds by Corinne Michaels, and I thought Here and Now was my favorite Corinne Michaels book, but I think she's outdone herself. It is Second Chance, Not His Baby, Neighbors. Corinne is crushing lately. Like, this story has me on the edge of my seat. All I can do is think about it. I am so into this book. It comes out July 23rd, and you need to mark your calendar. It's going to be duet narration. It's going to be on Kindle Unlimited, and you are not going to want to miss this story. I love a Not His Baby moment, and I just feel like Corinne has done this so well. Highly recommend. And then I forgot to say what I was currently reading. Sorry. I'm currently doing a reread on audio of Sable Peak by Devney Perry. And to my best friend who's listening, as we've already talked during this episode, I am so sorry. We were supposed to be doing a book club where every month we read one of the books of the Eden series, and I read Indigo Ridge and then I fell off. And I know you understand that I've been very busy, but again, public apology number 2 for this episode because I have been slacking. But I am rereading one of my Roman Empire books to round this out with you. Start and finish strong, baby. Sable Peak. Chapter 11 of Sable Peak makes me feel like I could run through a wall. I just love it. You have to read Crimson River before you read Sable Peak because you just won't understand Vera's character if you don't. And she's everything to me. And I really can't tell you much about the story because it spoils Crimson River. You see, so I'm kind of at a crossroads, but it's single dad. She falls first, he falls harder. He's a pilot. It's like this forced proximity element, kind of sunshine, but there's still a good amount of angst. I don't know. I love this story so much. I wish I could share more, but I do not want to spoil Crimson River. So you have to read it. Like, it is Roman Empire, top reads of all time, unreal, chef's kiss, Devney Perry, you rock. Now we're caught up. And those are the 6 I think that I will be able to get to in June. I might be able to get to Honor this month. Maybe. So, we'll see. And then next top priority reads are going to be the Poker Club series, Beaufort Poker Club by Maggie Gates. If you know me, you know I love everything Maggie does. I love the Griffith Brothers. I love Falls Creek. I just think that she hung the moon, and I've heard nothing but incredible things about her Poker Club series. I will say this series is not a standalone series. Like, you cannot read them. They're not interconnected standalones. You must read them in order. I'm not even going to go into tropes. I actually don't know much about this series. I'm just going to go in blind on a hope and a prayer and a dream. And of course, check my content warnings and all that good stuff. But otherwise, we're going to just wing it because I trust Maggie and I trust everyone who has said I will love this series. That's going to be up next. In terms of July releases, let's see what we have going on in July. Julie Soto has Rose in Chains. I have not read anything by her, and I absolutely should. For some reason in my brain, these covers go together. I need to read Julie Soto. I need to read Tara DeWitt as well. Left of Forever seems so up my alley. I also want to read, it's another Second Chance, and it's that kind of watercolor cover. My friend Savannah likes it. Chasing Shelter by Catherine Cowles comes out in July, so I'm really excited about that. Counting down the moments. Of course, Against All Odds, Corinne Michaels, July. Okay, what is that book? I'm going to look up Savannah because I know she's talked about it. I do want to read Problematic Summer Romance. I do have that audiobook in my Penguin Random House audio, so I need to do that. Savannah, I know you talked about this, and I'm scrolling your TikTok trying to find you holding it because I know you have. Hopefully you're listening and I'm not speaking to the void. Text me. Probably screaming it at me. Here it is. Haha, I knew you did. One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I knew you wouldn't do me wrong. I feel like that's going to be very up my alley. So I am hoping July is going to be my month. Minimum, I want to read 12 books. I know it's ambitious, but that's my dream and my hope and my goal. So we'll see what we can do. And yeah, I think this episode's just going to be a little bit shorter because I don't have as much to talk about. But I appreciate you all and your grace allowing me to have a week off last week and kind of recoup while I was at a meet and greet cute. Shout out to Molly, love of my life, for letting me come with her to that event. And I'm excited to be back. I'm excited for the guests that we will be having over the course of the next 3 months. I'm thinking I'll probably have maybe one guest month-ish. And then, of course, we'll have our monthly recaps and then whatever kind of episodes y'all want in between. But that's going to be it for today. Thank you, as always, for spending your day with me, and I'll see you in the next one.